Hello everyone and welcome to this talk where I will try to show you how you can use Spreadsheet to follow easily your project's budget inside Odoo. So you have here the usual QR code where you can put your questions that I will try to answer at the end of my talk. Okay, the QR code is still there. Just about what we are going to see, so I'm here doing a small introduction. Then I'm going to try to give you a bit more context about why a spreadsheet are interesting and show you a real example where my dashboard is going to be useful to show me some elements on my margins that I cannot see with the usual tools that are available in Odoo. Then I will try to give you a few hints on how you can build your own dashboard for the spreadsheet without going too much into details because the topic is quite technical and it's a bit too long to show in half an hour. But we have courses available and more talks on the subject, so if you want to know more about spreadsheets, I advise you to listen to them. And then if we have time, we'll try to see a bit more features of the dashboard that I built and I'm going to show you here. Okay, so the first question we might have is why would you use Spreadsheet to follow your project's budget? We just got a talk right now from André that was showing us in 3 different ways how we can use the project update dashboard and not a lot of things that were entirely standard to follow your budgets and to follow your margins on the sales order. So why would I take the time to actually build a complicated spreadsheet in order to see this? Well, there are multiple reasons behind that. First of all, the spreadsheet is going to give you a lot more flexibility, and that is going to make you more accurate. One reason for that is that we are able to multiply data sources. So, for example, if I'm doing a sale, I could have quite a long sales process where my salesperson has to reach multiple times to the customer. This is going to take a lot of time, and I actually have to pay my salesperson. So this means that in the end, it's a cost that should be reflected in my project. But my salesperson, they are not timesheeting or anything. So it's hard to put that cost into a project update, and the way you are doing it really depends on the company and what are your flows. With the use of spreadsheet, I could, for example, base myself on the activities that are recorded by the salesperson in order to load this into a spreadsheet and compute the time that they actually spend on a customer specifically. On top of that, I can also improve the visualization. So we've seen some tables with information, but I couldn't see any graph. I cannot see, for example, who's timesheeting or anything. So we can really play on what is useful for your company and your needs, and have something that highlights the most important things. And also one last element is, for example, the project dashboard that we showed, the standard one. It works really well from one project, but if you have multiple projects and you want to see the same data over multiple projects, it doesn't work. If you build your spreadsheet well enough, then it's going to be possible to do a cross-project analysis with the same level of insight that you do for all of the projects. Okay, so in order to show you that, I'm going to take the example of an implementation company implementing Odoo, where I have this proposition. So I'm selling services, materials, and maintenance. So the services, they are sold in pack. It's fixed packs. So this means that the price is fixed. We have 40 hours, and if we spend more time, the cost is on us. We are not going to increase the timesheet that we put on the customers. So we'd like to really have a good overview of the time we are spending. For the materials, it's mainly computers and printers, but the price of purchase can change in the time, so we need also to track the cost well. And for the maintenance part, here we work with a subscription that can run about 2 or 5 years, but that will be billed monthly for about 250 euros. So it means I receive the money along the way, and in standard Odoo, I do not really have a good view on what is the total value of my subscription, and nor the cost, because the cost, they will come from help desk tickets, where my maintenance guy will work on them and put some timesheets as well. Okay, so in the end, I have really simple quotes. We can see here, I have a part for services, some materials, a support part, but the computation of my margins can be quite complex because of the variety of sources and the nature of the proposition I have. Okay, so this is where my dashboard will come up to try to explain this in detail. So let's jump now into Odoo to try and see how we can build this dashboard. So let's first take a look a little bit about on my sales. So here I have a few sales that I already made right now. So let's take the first project here for Benjamin. Okay, so as I just showed, Benjamin here has the basic consultancy package. So we've got some 5 days, 40 hours, some hardware, and some maintenance. If I look at the margin that I have on my line, it looks pretty good because I'm doing margin on the implementation pack, on the hardware, and on the maintenance as well. So everything looks good here, and the total margin looks to be about 2,000 and to 44% of the whole sale. So that looks quite good. But I know, for example, on the pack, I have 40 hours, but if they record more timesheets, then it's going to be an issue because it's a fixed price. So let's take a look at how the project is going. I can see that the kickoff went well. Hardware took a bit more time, so we can check why. Okay, the guy is saying that it was far, so this is why. Okay, so maybe I don't need to adapt my template here. And there are not so many hours left, maybe for the final Q&A, still some. But then, well, I'm just going to go and check the project update as well to see where we are in the project. So let's check this. I can see that on September 11, we were at 70% of progress. So that was 1 week ago. 3 weeks ago, we are 30%. So this is quite a fast project. It should be done quite soon, I guess. We should be about 90% from now. And we've recorded about 90% of timesheets. So I could say this project is actually going quite well. And if I look at my dashboard here, I see all things are in the green. I'm expecting to make quite a lot of money on this sale, so this is really good at the moment. Okay, so now let's have a view of this on my dashboard. So here you can see the dashboard I created to check this information. So at the moment it's targeting all the projects, all the sales, so I can see the total value of all my sales, my current margin. Here I have some graphs with who timesheeted what. I can check here the amount per day of all the timesheet. I can also zoom in on a part if I want to. Right there, I can change it to weeks to see who is working when as well. Open this or go to go more into details and check a bit all of this information. So also if I click on anything, that will lead me to the records behind, so I can check where it's coming from there. Here I'm checking also the costs. I have a few information and nice graphs to show around. And for each of my type of services or elements, I also added a nice table recap that makes a recap of everything. And everything here is clickable. So I can see for the materials, I have a lot of confirmed purchase. If I click on this, I arrive on the purchase order that is linked behind. So it's really connected to everything. Okay, so let's go back to our use case and our sales order for Benjamin. Okay, so I'm going to filter on Benjamin. And although I thought that I had quite a good project here, I see that all of a sudden my expected margin is minus 7,000. So this looks like a dangerous project. I'm actually going to lose a lot of money on this. Okay, so let's check why am I losing this money. So here in the forecasted cost, I can see that I have about 82% of my costs coming solely from my maintenance subscription. Okay, so let's go scroll down, go to my maintenance and check a little bit what's going on here. Okay, so I can see I have a unit price of 250. That's a monthly amount I have, and it's going to be over 25 months. So the total value of this is 6,000. But at the moment, it's only been on for 1 month, and in this single month, I already have current cost of 600 euros. So if we keep at this rate, we have forecasted cost of minus 15,000 euros. So we are really having a loss on this project. Let's check a little bit what is happening on here with the maintenance costs. So I can see all of those are coming from maintenance tickets where my guy went and worked. And I can see here the printer didn't work because there was no paper. The printer doesn't work because the plug was not connected, but the guy went to the place to see this. Same thing with the computer. So we are actually losing a lot of time on just going to the customer and coming back, about 10 hours. So in this case, I think this is not okay to do this every month. So I'm just also going to message Romain to tell him, you cannot go to the customer for such a thing. Try to do video calls because otherwise we are going to lose money in this case. Okay, so this highlights just a little bit the usage of spreadsheet. If I were just looking the standard dashboard, I couldn't see this. Here I was able to come and take all the information from my maintenance and my help desk tickets to be able to see what the issue was coming from. So I could think, okay, is there a problem with my maintenance subscription in general? Like, is it badly computed or not expensive enough? So I will remove my filter on my specific project and maybe have a look here at my margin, how it's shared. But I can see that like most of my margin is actually coming from this subscription. So maybe this first sale order is just a bad thing, but there I have good results on my subscription. Okay, so this was just to highlight a little bit how the dashboard is going to work and what you can do with it. Let's just have a look at how you can create this in the basics. Okay, so I'm going to go open my document application, create a new spreadsheet here, and I'm going to go and fetch the data from Odoo. So to do this, I just go to Insert, Pivot Table from Odoo Data. And here I'm going to take, first of all, the sale order line, for example, because I just want to see what I sold and for which quantity. So I will say sale order line, save, add the dimension that will be the product, okay, and a few measures such as the quantity, the quantity that was delivered, the invoice quantity, and I will also take the unit price to know what I sold it for right there. Okay, so that is one first table, but now I will want to connect this information to other kind of information available in Odoo. So, for example, all the deliveries that I made, the material, those are cost as well. So let's call this. So in this case, it will be information coming from the stock move. So I will just tap stock move here. Take my stock move. This is going to open a new sheet with the information. This formula, I'm going to take it, go back to my first page and paste it here so I can do the same kind of modification. So I will also sort it by product in this case, and I will take the information, which are the value and also the quantity. Okay. When I look at this, however, I see I have huge numbers, and I actually have, I forgot one thing, it's to filter on only my deliveries, because the purchase, in this case, I don't want them. So I'm just going to add a domain to do this, say type of operation has to be delivery, and I'll also take only the one that are done, so status is equal to done in this case. So I get other numbers for this. So this is how I can build my dashboard. One last information that I will want, for example, the timesheets and the analytic line. So timesheet and analytic line are actually the same thing. So I will do exactly, again, the same operation. Go here, analytic line, save, take this formula, pivot, go back to my first page, up, put it here as well. And then modify this pivot. Here on the analytic line, I don't have a direct link to the product. It's not available. So if I want to have the same dimension, I can go to the sale order item that is linked to it. And then from there, I will also order by product. And when I have this, I can add also my measure, which are going to be the quantity. And I will also add here the amount, so I know the monetary amount that has been used. Okay, so I can see here that I have a lot of lines that are not connected to any product, and that's normal because if I wanted to have the timesheets, well, we have a lot of analytic lines that are not linked that are not timesheets, so not linked to a project. So I'm going to do the same thing, and add a domain to say, for example, here project has to be set up. And when I do this, I see that this number goes down. I only get 713 lines. If I look at the records, I will see that it's all tickets from the maintenance. So I could then filter them out as well, or put them in a different place by modifying a little bit my sheet. For example, copying this formula, getting it out here to get the amount that was used for maintenance. Once I have this, I can create graphs, for example, out of this with the quantity. So if I wanted to know which service serves the most, I could go here, chart, take a pie chart out of this to start making it pretty. Okay. Here I have a lot of information, but I'm not still targeting one specific project, so it's not really good to follow my margins. So in order to do this, what I will do now is to create a common filter that will allow me to filter on everything and to make sure I'm only talking about one project. So when I'm talking about projects, in this case, I will talk more about analytic accounts. So in Odoo, whenever you create a project, it's going to automatically create an analytic account for you and put it on the sale order of origin and propagate this analytic account to anything that comes out of it. So that they will all be connected to this. So here I will say analytic account as a model. And here Odoo is directly making the matching for me. So it will filter the sales order line on this distribution analytic. It will filter the analytic line as well on the project, but not the stock move. This is because there is no direct link. So if I want to do this, once again, I can just go to the sale line and then same thing, say distribution analytic account. Save, and once I've created this now, I can just come here up and put any of my customers. So if I put Christophe Bandelin here, I can just see the results specific for Christophe and build my dashboard around that as well. So that's it to give you a few hints about how I built the dashboard. If we go back to mine and go into edit mode, you will see all these tables. They are all coming from the data that I linked over here. So if I just over the different sources, you will see it highlights different parts of the sheet that are coming from specific pivots. They all have their own domains and features right there. One thing that I used as well, for example, here are the power of the calculated measures, notably to compute the expected cost that I will have with those different formulas right there. Okay, so that's all about how we created this dashboard. Now it's your turn as well to use this kind of things, but it's important to adapt it to your needs. Here I took one use case, so there are computations that are really specific to the business that I chose. However, I still put the QR code right here so that you can download the JSON file from the dashboard that I did, so that you can just load it in any document application on a 19 database. If you do that on previous version, it will not work. If you open it, you will see the different computations that I did on this dashboard. But once again, super important to adapt it to your own needs. And that's all for the presentation. You can scan it to ask your questions.
Thank you. The first question, how can you use AI to calculate the budgets?
AI is just coming up for the 19th, so I haven't really had the time to go over that subject. I don't think AI is really useful in this case because you have to define also, AI is not going to know the different flows that you have and how you compute them. If I took the example of the CRM and the salesperson that commit activities that I talked about in the beginning, he's never going to propose something like this or being able to build it. So at the moment, I advised you to build your own thing with the knowledge you have from your business.
Can I create different dashboards with different pivots and graphics on different pages and have a principal page that unites all graphics from my other pages?
Yeah, totally. So this is what I actually did here as well. So if we go back to my dashboard, here there are a few that are directly connected to the data. I took them from Odoo and inserted them. That has the advantage of keeping the link. Here you cannot really see because I have a screen issue, but you can, for example, see I added the projects, I added the product variants, the timesheet per task, and this pivot is then used to build the graph that I have here. So I created the graph and then took it away to put it on the first page so that it is shown as a dashboard as well. If you want to have multiple pages on your dashboard, it's also possible to create a link by adding insert link here up, and from there you are able to link a sheet. So you could, for example, create buttons that you can click on when you're on the dashboard view to go to other pages as well and navigate through the different pages on the dashboard, even though you don't have the rights to go into modification.
All right, clear. If new lines of my records are created, for example, new sales line, is it appearing on the list I add on my dashboard?
Yeah, totally. So here I didn't use a lot of lists. It's more pivots, but they are all dynamic, so they will all come up right away. If I go to any sales, like do a sale for Raphael right here, and were to add a product, a new one that I just created now, okay, it will show up afterwards. It will add the dimension later on. I can even show you here. So for example, I think I have the list of product variants here. I used it to use the ID to recompute some elements and keep the link to Odoo alive. And as you can see, I just use a formula that is Odoo list 2 sequence 1000. So that will bring me the first 1000 record of the list. At the moment, it's a pretty small database. I only have 10 products, but if I were to add more, they will naturally come up as long as there is a formula calling them like I'm doing it right now.
Is the data in the pivot always updated in real time?
Not in real time in the sense that if I do, if somebody is going to create a record right now when I'm looking at the dashboard, my page is not going to refresh. But if I just refresh the page, the new elements will directly come up right here. So as long as you have a value, so for example, what I show here, they are calling the full pivot directly, so not a specific formula. It will always update, add new dimension and everything. But if you look at one single cell, so if I were to paste this here and have one single formula that is calling something, here if we were to add a new sale for product with ID 56 for this week, then the amount will be impacted as well naturally. So real time as long as you are calling the right information.
Are there any features that Power BI offers but are not yet available, which you really hope to have in the future?
I have to admit that I work a lot on Odoo Spreadsheet directly, and so I don't use Power BI. It has so many advantages to work with Spreadsheet because you keep the direct link to the data. I click on anything, I go to the data directly so I can know where it comes from. We keep the access rights as well, so you're sure that you are not getting that into Power BI or anybody can lay its hand on. If it's protected in Odoo, it stays in Odoo. If somebody cannot access it, he will not be able to access it. So we have huge advantages compared to software where you have to get them out. The only thing sometimes that can be annoying is that we are still in a spreadsheet environment. That's the best to talk to most people. But a spreadsheet, it has to be filled. There is a lot of formulas, so it cannot extend forever. So if you have really huge amount of data, you might have to, you cannot display everything, but as long as you keep your pivots, you can have pivots that you are not calling, but that are computing the data in the backend, and then you only call the results, then it should work. And then probably you have to see in terms of performance at one moment. If you're able to do this, just be on your own server, and then you can have all the computing that you want to make everything available.
All right, and how to create that top bar filter that affects the dashboard?
So this is what I created here. We could like go here and try to create a second one if we wanted to. So here I have one on the analytic account, but I could try, for example, to create one on the contact. So I would just say contact here, up, link it to REST partner up here, and once I have this, I just have to like match for every pivot and every source of data what am I filtering on, save, and then this will appear at the top right there. That's it.
All right, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your
Just
afternoon.
need to refresh here. That's it.